Hello students. We're going to start with our third lesson. We are going to see what we took yesterday. Now we had our tree here. We talked about some things that are related to each other. We talked about listening. We talked about speaking. Yesterday we had a lot of details concerning grammar. And today we are going to take something new. But note that whenever we are talking, we are either relating to what we took in Mega Goal 4, or we are just preparing for what we're going to take, inshallah, in Mega Goal 5. So let's see what we have today. Now, we talked in the last lesson about grammar, and you can see that we have here a puzzle. The pieces go together. And what goes together with grammar here, we can see that vocabulary is always connected and attached to grammar, because we have vocabulary, we have words, and with these words we put them together in sentences to form sentences or correct sentences, which of course need grammar. So we are going to see what we have here concerning vocabulary. Now we are going to start with this picture, which is actually something main. We can see that we have here the basic part ABC. Now ABC, it can be something as a beginning, something as a start, and we are going to start from our beginning on how to learn vocabulary. So yesterday we started with the grammar. We gave different parts, which is like the verbs, nouns, adjectives, prepositions, and from these small details you will be able to focus on what you are doing in your sentences. Now also, when you learn vocabulary, you have to start from the beginning before you receive a new word and know how are you learning the word. So we're going to see what we have here. We are going to go back to how to learn vocabulary. We are going to break the ordinary. We have here, if you're stuck in the same old routine, it might be time to try something new, expose yourself to new ideas and inspirations. So see how you are learning your words. Are you learning them correctly? Are you receiving the words while you are really paying attention to them and connecting your words with something else? So this is something we're going to discuss in today's lesson. We are going to focus on vocabulary, and just to put in mind that whenever you are learning vocabulary, you are actually learning pronunciation at the same time. And in our lessons, we have a lot of details about pronunciation and how to pronounce the words correctly. If you pronounce the word correctly, you will be, inshallah, able to pronounce the whole sentence in a fluent and in a flowing manner. And this is something that we will also study within our syllabus. So put in mind that you are pronouncing the words correctly, you are learning what are the meanings, you are connecting and putting the words in sentences, which means that you are also learning grammar. You are writing, you are reading the words, so you are doing, as we said in our tree, everything at the same time. Now let's see what we have here. We are going to talk about vocabulary, and also with vocabulary, the pronunciation. The first relation that we have here is a bank. Now we have here, our vocabulary is actually, it's like a bank account that we have here. Now we're going to just put our vocabulary in a bank. Your balance is a vocab. Now, some people, when they learn a lot of words, which means that they have a high balance or a big balance, and if they don't know much about English, or they don't learn a lot of words, which means that they have a low balance or a small one. So we have here, just connect the idea, put in mind that you have your bank account, it's empty, it's full, it's about half the balance that you have in mind or you expect. And you are going to work within this semester, inshallah, to make your balance higher and make your vocabulary richer. How can you evaluate your balance? So since we are just comparing the vocab with the bank account here, the first question, how? How can you evaluate how much vocabulary you have? And actually, we're going to answer this question with other questions. So we have here first, how frequently do I use English? So as long as you are using English all the time, you are learning, you are using the vocabulary and the words that you have recently learned. What did I learn so far? So it's not just about learning from the book. It's about using the words. It's about relating, about connecting with your environment and the things around you. So you can remember the word, and it can be something basic that you know. When do I use what I have learned? So never say that this word is unusable. All the vocabulary and the words that you learn within the book and even outside the book, you can use them in different matters and in different situations. Am I learning correctly? So here, this is a very important question. The vocabulary or the words that you have, are you learning in a correct way? Or are you just receiving the words and just repeating them and then putting them aside? So we're going to see here, what do we have? Now here is the most 100 important words. Here are those 100 important words in English and the ones everyone should be familiar with. How many do you already know? So here you can just read the words and then you just relate about how many words do you know from them. And basically, if you know a lot of these words, you're good in English and you're just going to have to improve and make yourself better. But mainly, these are one of the most 100 important words that we have in English. So let's start. You can see that we have here the word amount, argument, art, be, beautiful, belief, cause, certain, chance, change, clear, common, comparison, condition, connection, copy, decision, degree, desire, development, different, do, education, end, event, examples, existence, experience, fact, fear, feeling, fiction, force, form, free, general, get, give, good, government, happy, have, history, idea, important, interest, knowledge, law, let, level, living, love, make, material, measure, mind, motion, name, nation, natural, necessary, normal, number, observation, opposite, order, organization, part, place, pleasure, possible, power, probable, property, purpose, quality, question, reason, relation, representative, respect, responsible, right, same, say, science, see, seem, sense, sign, simple, society, sort, special, substance, think, thought, true, use, way, wise, word, and work. So these are 100 words that we have. If you know about 50 or more of these words, you are good, inshallah, and you are working. So the last word that we have here is actually the word work. If you know less, which means that you really have to work on your vocabulary, and this is a chance to learn more and to actually understand or learn how to learn the word before you use or you receive any new vocabulary. Yes, now let's move on. We have here in our book, there is a lot to learn, and we have here actually a lot of vocabulary. Now in the units, we have here 6 units in our book, like what you took the last year, and we have here the years before. And in each unit, of course, you remember that you take a different topic. The topic has a lot of vocabulary related to it. And within this topic, you can also think on how to use the vocabulary and the words in other matters. So it's not just related to the topics that we have in the book. Let's give examples. Now, learning vocabulary through context, which is mainly what we have in our book, you can see in the book we have your language review, and also we have exercises, a lot actually of exercises. We have also pronunciation practice, as we said, that is very important and related to vocab. So we have here, these are the parts that we have here. And going back to our question, how can I learn new vocabulary? Let's see what we have here. Yes, your answer is just in one word, relate. So any word that you don't know and you have just learned, you have just read it, you just understood what the meaning is. If you want to stick to the word, or you want the word to stick to you, and you want to use it and enrich your vocab, you have to relate. Always relate. Relate with the things around you, relate with the interests that you have, relate with the environment, with events that are happening around you. And whenever you are using the word, you will be able to remember the word later on. So let's move on. We have here, the first idea that we have here is personal engagement. Now, what do we mean? When we say personal engagement, we have here the word selfie, or you can see here selfie time. Now, actually, what do we mean by it? We mean to take the word and see how it reflects on you and how you can remember this word. So it's like when you are taking a selfie and you are seeing you reflect. Also, the same thing is when you have a word, you are going to capture the word and reflect it on yourself. How are you learning? So we have here, for example, we can say that a picture paints 1,000 words. Now, any picture that you can see, it's not just about learning one word. You can relate and put a lot of words in mind here actually by learning the words and writing all the time what are the words that are connected, even if they are not new to you. Go back to roots. Now, one of the most powerful tools for learning new words is studying prefixes, roots, and suffixes, which are a significant part of the English language and a great tool for learning new words. Now, we know that a lot of words in English, they have prefixes, they have suffixes, and to understand these parts is a great way to understand the word and remember it. List, group, and label, which means that we have here our typical mapping and how you can just group words together and understand that these words are related with each other to remember later on what are the words that we have. So this is a form of structured brainstorming designed to help you identify what they know about a concept and the words related to the concept. Now think of all the words related to any word, for example. Now we can see here, for example, transportation. You can see that we have land, air, and water. And from this one, we have other words related as well. Now group the words listed by some shared characteristics or commonalities and try to add words to the categories on the organized lists. Of course, we have here our synonyms and antonyms, and we will be, inshallah, using them a lot. So we have here, think of synonyms, think of antonyms. Now, just note that not all words have antonyms, but thinking about, for those that do, paraphrase definitions, and we have your paraphrase. What does it mean? To use your own words to increase connection. So any word, you can explain it to yourself using your own vocabulary that you already know. And of course, we have your word sorting, which is like grouping that we just talked about. And we have here provide a list of vocabulary words from a reading selection and sort them into various categories. For example, parts of speech, branches of a kind, and so on. Now, let's just see what we had in Mega Goal 4, just examples. You can see, for example, that we have here, these are words that we learned in Mega Goal 4. We have here atmosphere, comfort, furnish, loyalty, poverty, shelter, wealth, and warn. Now, if we want to, for example, just see the word poverty, what does it mean? Or remember, actually, what does it mean? You can just relate to the poor people that we have in our society and how we can help them. And actually, this is something that we have here in our religion, in Islam, to help the poor. And to, of course, one of the pillars that we have here is, of course, zakat. So you can connect, like the word poverty, with something important like this. Another example, we have here commemorate, marathon, originated, practice, procession, and revived. Now we have here, for example, the word commemorate. Now we can relate to our Saudi National Day, and the basic thing or the aim of having actually a national day is to commemorate its memory. Here you can see other words that we have passed by. We have here astonished. We have here fascinated, puzzled, bilingual, irritated, and remarkable. We have here the word irritated. Now, if you see someone who is a little bit angry or there is something wrong with him, you can say that he looks a little bit irritated. We have here also other words like dread, morally, motivate, responsible, tempted, and vanish. We can see that we have here a lot of quotations that motivate us every day. So you can also relate the word motivate with a kind of quotation that you already know or you like. And just remember that we have here motivate is a verb, motivation is a noun. So whenever you are connecting and relating, you will inshallah remember them. Now more and more vocabulary. Of course, in our book, we have the real talk, which is a part of the conversation. Now, in the real talk, there are expressions and phrases that we use. Also, we have here different idioms. Now, we can say, for example, that we have here a piece of cake. We have also cost an arm and a leg, break a leg, and a race against time. Now, you can see that these expressions, they are not actually what they appear. They have another different meaning. Now, this is a way to learn a phrase, a new phrase, or an idiom, and at the same time, you are concentrating on the words that we have, and you are practicing pronunciation at the same time. Now, one of the exercises that we had in the book, which we have here, is vocabulary building. We can say, for example, footage. We can also relate to the same thing. And if you want to remember the meaning, just relate. We're using a picture, an example, something that you have did. So maybe you did the kind of footage. Now here, if you just remember that we have here footage is not actually related to a foot, but we have here a footage is something that is captured or pictured. You will remember that it is something like a TV or a film coverage. Also here we have the word bond. Now you can say that you and your friend bond together, or there is a strong bond between you and your mother, your sister, your father, or someone special. You can say also, we have here other words, like here, a lot of words that are related to sports. You can remember the sports that you actually like. We have here a lot of sports that can be related. You can remember, and you know that you will remember the sports that you are already interested in. So we have here in the book, there is a lot of vocabulary that is mentioned, and you can remember it easily by just relating to your own interests. Also, while you're at home, you can relate a lot of vocabulary that you take by just looking around you. For example, your kitchen. Now you can just look in the kitchen and remember a lot of words. Now we can remember dishes, quantities used, like for example, a cup or a teaspoon, ingredients, simple things like salt and pepper. We have here actions that are used or done in the kitchen, like for example, measure, add, pour, cut, chop, mix, spread, and tear. We have your utensils and also cooking methods. And we can say that a lot of vocabulary can also be related watching different programs, watching clips, watching a lot of, we have here documentaries that will help you. And you can just relate by seeing something that you see on the screen and try to relate what are the words that you have learned, or try to apply the words that you have learned to something that you are already seeing. So there are a lot of applications, there are a lot of programs, there are a lot of channels on TV that you can also just watch and relate your vocabulary. So you can make something enjoyable and useful at the same time. At the end, we have here, it's not just in one lesson. You are not learning vocabulary lessons in English. No, minutes a day to a better vocabulary is guaranteed, inshallah. We have here a word a day calendar or a website, or developing your own list of words to learn is a great technique many people use to learn new words. This approach may be too rigid for some, so even if you do use this method, don't feel you must learn a new word every day. So this is something that you can do naturally, this is something that you can do, and you will get used to it, and it will come with you spontaneously, inshallah. So we have discussed vocabulary and connected it with grammar. Tomorrow, inshallah, we have something new for you prepared.